Playoff time. Texans back at it. Demeco Ryans spoke. I was on the scene. We'll react to what he had to say. Plus, there's two very important things that you need to win this time of the year. Do the Texans possess any of those advantages when it comes to being the underdog against the Chargers? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time.
It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. You can see me here throughout the week, also on SNL. With Cody Stutes, always on the scene, which is where I was when Demeco Ryans spoke today. Texans have a really interesting matchup this week against the Chargers. They are one of two teams in the NFL that is an underdog despite hosting their opening playoff game. It seems like, and I'm not like a national media saying this, but it seems like, I don't even think it's necessarily the wrong opinion, the national media is kind of leaning Chargers in this game. And there was a real viral moment, at least around here, at least on my timeline, involving Rex Ryan, where he said the Chargers basically have a bye against the Texans. And if you read between the lines, the son of Buddy, a.k.a. SOB, Rex Ryan, the SOB, he seems to question the Texans' toughness. By the way, this segment brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 if you want to get 150% back up to $2,000. We won the $500 bet, the random one yesterday. We'll make some crazy bets coming up. Don't know if I'm going to bet on this Texans-Chargers game just yet. Kind of want to get a little more grasp of that, figure out where the value is. But it's obvious. Rex Ryan does not think this is a tough football team. And I think about it, and I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think you can absolutely say this is a tough football team. They're physical. They punish you. They punish you in the trenches. They punish you outside of the trenches. They have physicality at the linebacker position, on the D-line, on the edge, perhaps the most physical, imposing duo in the entire league. You can make a case that both of them got snubbed of the Pro Bowl, especially Will Anderson. They have physical freaks at corner in Derek Stingley, all pro caliber season this year, and Kamari Lassiter, all rookie caliber season, very physical. And at safety, they have pretty physical presence as well with Kalen Bullock, and he's kind of the ball hawk. So you can make a case on defense. This is a pretty physical team. This is a defense that I'm pretty sure Rex Ryan would love to coach. The SOB, Rex Ryan would love to coach this squad. Now, offensively, let's just be honest. There's a lot to be desired. You have two dogs on offense in Joe Mixon and Nico Collins. The offensive line is one of the worst in the NFL. One of the most penalized in the NFL. They don't run the ball consistently. They don't protect their quarterback consistently. So if you want to make that case, you can. But as far as the notion, if you read between the lines of what the SOB, son of Buddy, is saying, he's saying that this team isn't tough. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with what he's saying there. Because I think that this is a tough team, specifically on defense. So there's that. And that obviously had the internet going nuts. What Rex Ryan had to say about the Texans. Now, the question, though, and I think the two most important things that you need during this time of the year is you need a really good quarterback and you need a really good coach. Now, there are exceptions when a defense can carry you and you can get hot at the right time. A coach can coach up a quarterback. A quarterback can overcome bad coaching. But for the most part, the two most important things that you need this time of the year are you need a really good coach, which I think the Texans have, and you need a really good quarterback, which the Texans have a good quarterback in CJ Stroud. Elite? No, he's not elite yet. But you have a good quarterback and you have a good coach. But do you have the advantage in this game on Saturday in those two areas? And that's where I think that the question begins to kind of emerge when it comes to how exactly you assess, how you look at, and how you evaluate this squad. And get y'all stuff in the comments. We'll get to it. Shout out to the community, the locker room community. Be sure you're following Cody Stutes as well, and SNL Top Texans podcast. By the way, that's officially official. And the YouTube channel. I think we're pushing 2,000. Close. Just started a few weeks ago. The response has been through the roof, and we absolutely appreciate you joining us for SNL. We're going to do shows throughout the season. We're hitting the ground running, off season included. Tomorrow's is probably going to be about 6 o'clock ish because they pushed practice back. Practice actually got pushed back, and Demeco actually got pushed up today. Practice got pushed back to tomorrow at, let's see, practice at 1:45. So this is a late practice. Demeco's going to speak at 3:10. CJ will speak at 3:30, and then the locker room will open up. Not this locker room, the locker room at NRG. It'll open up at 3:45. So I'll probably wake up, go in the studio. I'll probably put together a video just for the video section. We'll still have the live stream at 10:30, and SNL will be at 6. And then Wednesday, they move practice to 12:55. And then Thursday is going to be a little bit more normal. They'll have it at 11:15, and they'll have an off day on Friday. So that's where we're at on that. Shout out to Kevin. I appreciate you for rolling through. Positive vibes only. There's no negative vibes during the playoffs. I mean, there's concerns, there's breakdowns, but it feels like a monkey just completely jumped off of my back as soon as the playoffs started, because that regular season was getting a little bit wild, for sure. Renee says I need to do more shorts. We do the shorts like with players, and we do the shorts thing. The problem I have with shorts is some people don't do unique content with shorts. Like if I ask a coach a question or a player, I put the short up. But like I'm not like going to take like a highlight and put it there. It does help like subscriptions, but you look at a lot of people who get subscriptions because of shorts. Nobody's watching and they have no time spent listening. So we'll do more shorts, probably authentic content, but I don't like just taking like so-and-so said this and making it a short. I like to at least be involved in it, or it to be unique content. But that is good advice. We'll figure that out for sure. Siraj says, I have some negative vibes, but I'm fighting these demons. Negative vibes are fine. The Texans have given you a reason throughout history to have negative vibes. There's a reason that they've been in this time slot all season, their entire franchise history. And that has to do with relevance and success. So negative vibes are fine. They're cool. And we'll see how that goes. Jason says he hates when Demeco gaslights us. Yeah, it was kind of a beating this year at times. But I think he's kind of relieved to be in the playoffs. But let's get to the quarterback. Let's start with the quarterback. Quarterback, head coach. So if I asked you, and let's be real, let's be objective. We all understand that CJ Stroud doesn't have the perfect situation. The offensive line sucks. The offensive coordinator has done some maddening things, and he struggled. The weapons outside of wide receiver 1 and RB1 are probably among the worst in the NFL. And they struggle to put up points consistently. We get that. There's also regardless of the why, CJ Stroud has not performed as well as many of us had hoped. And a lot of stuff that he can control has not gone well. So my question is, Landry's best mom ever. That is the high grade. I wish I could get on that high
grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
So yeah, it's a big cup. So I got the number one mom cup. I got this for wifey on Mother's Day. It was kind of like a throw in, but I was gonna get some of that high grade, but I'm recovering from the flu, and I was like, man, I wanna hit the left-handed cig out back, and I was like, you know what? That's probably not gonna be good for me. I'm gonna talk for an hour. I'm stretched out now. I did shows from the road, not as good a quality. Now I'm back in studio. If I'm sitting there and I'm hitting that Dreezy, that
high grade marijuana called Kush on the streets,
I don't know if that's going to help me, and it might kind of set me back. So I didn't hit the left-handed Siggy. But we know all this stuff about CJ Stroud. I digress. We know about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was supposed to be kind of knocking on the edge of elite, kind of been on a little bit of a treadmill. They had coaching issues with Staley. They've brought in Harbaugh. Seems like he's kind of found his way. Now, my question would be, who do you think has the quarterback advantage on Saturday? Swarm into the super chat. We got A Jizzle. Appreciate you, my friend.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
But who would you say has the quarterback advantage there? Trent says, come on, we're one and done. Very possible. Very possible. I don't disagree with you. Who has the advantage? Let's look at the stats. And obviously there's always gray area, but let's just look at the stats. The basic stats that we look at to evaluate quarterbacks. Start with completion percentage. Herbert 65.9, CJ Stroud 63.2. So Herbert has the advantage in completion percentage. Yards per completion. Herbert 7.7, Stroud 7. So Herbert has the advantage there. Yards per game. Herbert 227.6, CJ 219.2. So Herbert has the advantage there. Adjusted QBR. Herbert 65.3, Stroud 50.2. That's something that ESPN does. Traditional passer rating. Herbert 101.7, Stroud 87. And I think this is one of the biggest differences in the two. And it's actually kind of insane, the job Herbert has done in this area. It's got to be something that Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh are stressing out there on the West Coast. Herbert is 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Stroud has 20 and 12. And Stroud probably last year could have thrown more interceptions. I think he acknowledged that. But 23 and 3 is an insane ratio, no matter how you slice it. Like that is an insane ratio. Also got to factor in that the Chargers, they have 11 wins. They're in the AFC West. Texans have 10. They're in the AFC South. And I know QB wins aren't like the team. It's kind of more of a team record, but we got to factor that in. But 23 and 3 and 20 and 12 is pretty wild. Now, it goes back to the offensive line. The offensive line obviously sucks for the Texans. We know that. Stroud's been sacked 52 times. Herbert's been sacked 41. So if we go back to the question, who has the QB advantage? Who would you say? I think it's close. I think they're both in the same tier. 52 to 41. Stats are out the window in the playoffs. That's true. That's the beauty of it. You have the ability to flip the switch. We've seen Justin Herbert have a meltdown in the playoffs. The last time the Jags were in the playoffs, the Chargers had a big lead, and then there was just a complete meltdown. So we've seen that. So stats are out the window. But if I asked you right now, who's the better quarterback, who would you say? I think this is the tier. I think this is the CJ Stroud tier right now. It's the Herberts. It's, other guys in that second tier. Goff's probably a little above right now just because of the team success. I would say Sam Darnold's in the tier just based on this year. Definitely not long term. But this is kind of the tier where the Texans are. So, or where CJ Stroud is. So I would say it's close. I would lean Herbert. I would say Herbert, but I also acknowledge that CJ Stroud has the ability to flip the switch, and we've seen that before. But heading into this game, I would say Justin Herbert. Kevin Smith swarming the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
The QB advantage comes from who's coaching them. Harbaugh versus Slowick gives Herbert the advantage. As much as I don't want to say it, still takes CJ over Herbert. Here's the other thing too, and I kind of we'll get to the head coach in a minute, but the offensive coordinator for the Chargers right now, and he's been kind of a polarizing guy. I think the Ravens made the right decision moving on from him, although he deserves a lot of credit for completely revamping the offense for Lamar Jackson. But their offensive coordinator is Greg Roman. And Greg Roman, it appeared, was kind of a dead man walking when it came to his NFL future. Jim Harbaugh didn't hesitate. He said, you know what? I want this guy as my offensive coordinator. And Greg Roman he coached in Houston from 2002 to 2005. He was a tight end coach, and he was a QB coach. Then he went to the Ravens as an O-line assistant. Then he went to Holy Spirit High School and was an offensive coordinator. Then he went to Stanford with Jim Harbaugh, where he was an OC. Then he went to the 49ers. And in 2011 to 2014, with Jim Harbaugh, he was the offensive coordinator. So he was the OC in 3 conference championship games in 3 years. He went with 2 different quarterbacks, Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. He was a completed fade to Michael Crabtree away from winning the Super Bowl. So that's a lot of battle tests. That's pretty battle tested, I would say. Then he went to Buffalo, 2015-16. Things didn't go well. Then he went to the Ravens, and he was on their staff from 2017 to 2018. And then in 2019, they basically put him in charge of changing the offense for Lamar Jackson. And he led Lamar Jackson to MVP caliber stuff. Now, eventually the offense did get stagnant, and he ended up having to resign. But after 12 games, the team averaged 33.8 points per game, and they eventually got knocked off by the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs, and the questions started emerging. But he's back with the Chargers, and he's done a pretty good job with Justin Herbert. I'm saying all that to say this. What are the 2 most popular words on this stream? And y'all know what they are. The 2 most popular words on this stream all season long when people are pissed off. Who are they most pissed off about? And Kevin, appreciate the suit for sure. Thank you very much for that. But what are the 2 words? Y'all know it. Joshua knows it.
Damn it, Bobby.
Bobby Slowick has never in his life been as battle tested as Greg Roman. Greg Roman has coached 3 quarterbacks at the highest level in the NFL. Alex Smith during his career revival, Colin Kaepernick during his stretch where they were a few yards away from a Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson when they were trying to figure out how to make it work with him in the NFL. Props to him for winning the MVP in another system. And now he's with Justin Herbert. So we can talk, and we'll talk about Demeco, and we'll talk about Jim Harbaugh. The biggest matchup might be offensive coordinator. And when it comes to just the job they've done this season and how battle tested they've been and all the things they've seen and all the situations they've been in, Greg Roman is Bobby Slowick's daddy. And that's what's scary about this whole thing. Does that matter? No. You got to start somewhere. I mean, I'm sure there was a time where pick a coach was inexperienced. He was going against someone with more experience. The only way to get experience is to actually play football, as Demeco Ryans always says. But when it comes to the body of work, all we've seen from Bobby Slowick is he's called this offense with C.J. Stroud. It's gotten worse from one year to the next. And eventually there's a shelf life. We saw it with Greg Roman with the Ravens. But whether it's an offense with Alex Smith, whether it's an offense with Colin Kaepernick, whether it's an offense with Lamar Jackson, whether it's this offense with Justin Herbert, he knows what the hell he's doing. The good news is, though, Demeco Ryans knows what the hell he's doing when it comes to defense. And Justin Herbert is the type of quarterback that Demeco Ryans can give headaches. See Josh Allen, see Trevor Lawrence. He can give this type of quarterback headaches. But if we're just talking offensive coordinator and we're talking quarterback, Justin Herbert's much more fortunate to be working with Greg Roman than C.J. Stroud is to be working with Bobby Slowick.
Damn it, Bobby.
I think we can all agree on that. Back to the super chats. Swarm in the super chats like a mofo. Good Lord, Tony, you are the man.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Shout out to Big T. We look good. Shout out to Big T. We look good against the Titans because they would have lost their second pick if they'd won. We are not beating the Chargers. The Titans showed us who we really are a couple of weeks ago. Your thoughts? Yeah, I didn't put a lot of stock in what they did against the Tennessee Titans. I think the good news with the Tennessee Titans is that everyone was healthy and the offense didn't look terrible. They didn't look stagnant. That was my nightmare situation. Is you say you want to get these guys to go out there and you want to see how they look and they struggle, and then all of a sudden you've not only put them in harm's way, but you have nothing to show for it. I agree that the Titans weren't really trying as hard. And I think there's a big difference. Like when you look at the Texans when they were facing the Colts and you had Lovie Smith and you had a lot of guys on the team who weren't guaranteed roster spots. That's a lot different than Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat, who know they're going to be back next year, and Brian Callahan, who knows he's not getting fired. So I don't put a lot of stock in what happened with the Tennessee Titans. What you would have hang your hat on is the job that Demeco Ryans has done against quarterbacks with a similar skill set of Justin Herbert and C.J. Stroud flipping the switch and the offense taking advantage of opportunities. I don't think there's multiple ways that the Texans can win a game. Now, the good news is I don't think the Chargers are a team that's just gonna blow the top off either. I don't think they're going to light up the scoreboard. I don't think the Texans can get in a shootout. I think the defense is going to have to minimize the other offense, and the Texans offense is going to have to take advantage of situations, and that margin for error becomes a lot smaller than we're used to. Against the Dolphins, you can stall a couple of times and kick field goals after the defense gives you opportunities. Against the Ravens, you can't. When it's 10-2 and you get in the red zone, if you don't score, you're never going to look back. Chargers aren't quite the Ravens, but they're damn sure not the Dolphins. So it's somewhere in between. But I do think this defense is going to be ready to ball. I do think these linebackers are going to be ready to ball. And I think they're going to be up for the challenge. The offensive coordinator situation, though, a little bit scary. I don't know what Bobby Slowick's going to do. Much appreciation. Now we go into the pesos.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Landry, don't worry. Demeco defense will have 5 interceptions and 1 pick, so the Texans will win. Saludos. Appreciate it, mi amigo. That's the key. And it's not far-fetched. This is a damn good defense. You got damn good corners. You got damn good linebackers. You got a damn good D-line. So hang your hat on the defense. Quarterback, I'm giving the edge to the Chargers. Offensive coordinator, That's lightweight right there. That's an old school Mike Tyson fight, Greg Roman versus Bobby Slowick. Fortunately, Demeco Ryans is the one that goes head to head against Greg Roman. If we're just laying out the offensive coordinators, though, that is an absolute disgrace. Not even close at all. So then we go to the head coach. And this would be my question. Who has the head coaching advantage? The answer is obvious. Okay. Jim Harbaugh is one of the most battle-tested coaches in the entire in all of football. He's only coached 4+ seasons in the NFL. He's gotten to 3 conference championships. If he loses this game, it would be the first time when he's been in the playoffs that he's lost his first playoff game. Last time he coached in this stadium, he won a national championship against Washington. He is beyond smart to where he does things where some people don't even know the rule book that coach the game as well as he does. He's had 2 free kicks. He had one when he was in San Francisco. He did it this year where you call the fair catch and you get the free kick. Some people didn't even know that existed. He did it. It actually kind of flipped the script. When it comes to in-game coaching, when it comes to being battle tested, there's not really too many guys that are better than Jim Harbaugh. There's guys that have more accomplished NFL resumes, although 3 conference championships in 4 seasons and a Super Bowl, that's pretty hard to top. This is only the 5th year he's coached in the NFL. He's been coaching in college for a long time. He's built a program, a small tier program. He's elevated a mid-tier program to the point where they got in the number 1 pick. And then a powerhouse. He won them a national championship game. Saying all that, I haven't seen anything from Demeco Ryans. Now, there's been some stuff with Demeco where you wonder if he has a grasp of offense that is appropriate to be able to raise the ceiling of a squad. You wonder that. But there hasn't been anything in game from Demeco Ryans that has just stuck out to where you question his ability to be able to knuckle up with Jim Harbaugh. Now, with that said, we've only seen him in 2 playoff games, and both of them were complete ass whoopings. The Browns game, the last wild card round, where the Texans just beat their ass. And then the Ravens game, where the offense didn't do anything, and the Ravens kind of ran away with it. So we really haven't seen Demeco Ryans in a high-stake pressure situation, and it's just an experience thing. And you got to start somewhere. So I would say that Jim Harbaugh has the advantage, but it's not like Bobby Slowick having the disadvantage of Greg Roman, where we've kind of seen situations, the end of the Green Bay game, the end of the Cincinnati game last year, where Bobby Slowick has kind of had brain farts in big games. We haven't seen Demeco Ryans really have that. We can nitpick. We can say something here or there. But for the most part, we really haven't seen that from Demeco Ryans. But it's a small body of work. So I say that the Chargers have the advantage. But it's really just about experience, and we haven't seen Demeco Ryans in those situations. But big game Jim Harbaugh, he's as good as it gets when it comes to big game situations, no matter what. But I would say they have the head coaching advantage, and I don't think that's a knock on Demeco. I just think that's where it is. I would say their biggest advantage, if we're just looking at this, the quarterbacks, Herbert, Stroud, I would give it to Herbert. A lot of that has to do with surroundings, but I would say they're both in the same tier. Coaching, I would give it to Harbaugh. I would say that has a lot to do with experience, but Demeco's done a hell of a job. Jim Harbaugh's had really good things to say about him, appropriately so. And offensive coordinator, that's where the big disadvantage is. Greg Roman versus Bobby Slowick. Scary. I didn't head into this stream thinking that was the direction this was going to take, but the chat, the help of the chat, as always, the locker room community, shout out to y'all. That's kind of just helped. Kind of taken in that direction. Laro says complete blasphemy going with Harbaugh. Come on. Let's not be crazy at all. Let's make a bet real quick. Bet US, promo code YouTube 150. Let's make a bet here. The account is up. I lost the CJ Stroud prop bet. I won the Daniil Hunter. The Stephon Diggs didn't hit. He got hurt. So we're up to 3,600 on the year. We have in the, let's see. Okay, so they've cleared the prop bets now that the season's over. So we're at a solid 3,600. We started with about 12. And with the bonus, the YouTube 150. So now let's just make some real bets here. And let's go to this. Let's go to this weekend. Let's click in some wild card playoffs, and let's get some college football. We'll do props a little later on. But we're gonna go Chargers, Texans. We're avoiding this for now. We're gonna take the Ravens -10. We're gonna put 220 on that to win a Honda. And I don't really like betting on other sports, so this is where we're at there. Broncos, Bills. We're gonna take the over in that. I kind of like the way the Broncos offense is playing. We're gonna put 220 on that too. 220 to win 200. So we got 440 on the line. We're just making it rain now. And then Commanders, Tampa Bay. That's a high over. We're going to take Philly -4. Green Bay appears to be a little bit banged up. They're going to get Hurts back, like their receivers. So we'll place that bet, and we'll confirm that. So we got 660 on the line. Let's go to the prop builder. Why the hell not? While we're at it, and let's look at these games. We got Thursday, Friday action. Let's go to the Longhorns game. We're gonna go. I'm not gonna bet with my heart here. I'm not gonna do it. But let's go receiving yards. They always sleep on Jaden Blue. 9.5. What's the max? And the max is 100. So we will go max bet on that. 100 to win 80. So there we go. And then we'll just do a long shot parlay with Texas since we're here. So Texas is going to have to score over points if they're going to win. So let's do that. Let's take Texas to win. Let's take the receiving yards. Let's stick with Blue. Don't usually like to double up, but we're going to do that. And then we'll go Wingo, 21.5. I think they've kind of slept on him. What's the max bet here? 10 to 1. Max bet's 952. So we'll just go 952 to win 109. Blue over, Wingo over, Texans over, Texas over points. And we're not getting too crazy there because I'm not overly confident. So that's what we'll do. Promo code YouTube 150 if you want to get there. We'll do the Texans promo bet. Bet US also has a specialist that speaks to you when you do that. So we'll see how that whole thing goes and what that looks like. We'll go around the league in a little bit. The rest of the division is a disaster. But I was on the scene. Cody was on the scene. Demeco Ryans met with the media. Let's hear what the head coach of the Houston Texans had to say here live in the locker room.
Good afternoon. Where are we?
He's happy, isn't he?
It's pretty cold in Houston for everybody who don't know. I see a lot of coats in here. Everybody bundled up. Oh, go ahead.
The Chargers and some of the matchups. What do you think of them overall as a football team and the way they're coached?
Here comes the
we're really excited about this matchup versus the Chargers. Really well-coached football team. You can see Coach Harbaugh's imprint on the football team instantly, just how sound they are in all three phases. Very sound football team. They can run. They're very, very balanced offensively, run the ball well, and of course, Justin Herbert is one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he's done a really great job, I think, of just protecting the football. Right, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and it's a lot to be said for a quarterback who does that. Right, really puts his team in really good
3
situations.
picks. It's crazy.
To move down the field.
I didn't know
good on
that.
third down. Defensively, I think Coach Mentor has done a really good job with this team. Just eliminating the deep pass. They do a really good job of, playing the shell coverages, mixing the coverages up. And this week we got to find number 3, Derwin James. He's all over the place. You talk about blitzing, safety, nickel, whatever DB position you want to call it. Like, Derwin is playing lights out. He's an impact player. We have to have awareness for where he is at all times. Their edge rusher is also a good player. He's been doing it for a long time. Mack and Bosa, really good tandem there on the edge. So
Hell of a duo.
we have our hands full, as should be, in a playoff matchup. But we're excited to go against a really good football team.
Can you talk about you talked about it a little bit after the game yesterday. How much what you saw yesterday really helps you guys do some of these things you just addressed that have to happen? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, what we did on yesterday, it was just getting back to, for me, just getting back to the basics. I said just playing football the right way. For us, just going out and executing. As I know I've mentioned that a lot, and that's what it looks like when our guys do it the right way, just eliminating negative plays offensively, putting together a solid drive, moving the football, and finishing with points. That's something that we've been harping on, something we have to do better, and we were able to do that yesterday. And I'm pleased with the outing that our guys had, and I thought they did a really good job there.
Demeco, how have you seen CJ evolve in his leadership in his second year? And do you have any examples of how you've seen him maybe change, or if it maybe hasn't changed? I don't know.
Yeah, for CJ, when it comes to the leadership piece, it's from CJ being authentic. As I think everyone sees when CJ is here in his interviews and everything, CJ is authentic. He's real. It's not only here, it's in the locker room, around the guys, and that's what leadership is to me. Like, as you evolve as a leader, you just be authentic to yourself. You don't have to make up anything or make up a speech or make up something to say to guys. You're just CJ is being CJ.
No doubt.
And that's what our guys feed off. CJ just being himself, being authentic as a leader, understanding that it's not all on him, right? As a leader, it's all of our guys just buying in, doing what they have to do. But also CJ understanding a lot of guys are looking up to him on the team. And, he takes that role seriously, but it's not a heavy weight for him, right? Because we have other leaders as well around him with Will, Aziz, other guys that step up. So, I'm proud of CJ and how he's, continued to grow as a pro, and it's only his second year. And he'll continue to thrive and be better, as a leader of our team.
In a similar vein, CJ.
Demeco Ryans earlier today.
Sunday, how do you
on
like
the
where
team
he
with my man
is?
Cody Stoops.
Because obviously he's been tough on himself, but how do you like where he is playing wise and as you all prepare for this match?
Yeah, we're all in a good spot, man. We're ready to go play football. Like, we're here. It's the playoffs. We're ready to go play football. Just, can we be the best team on Saturday? That's all that matters for us.
Speaking about Herbert again, he doesn't get too much credit about his running ability. How can you tell us about that challenge you will face then?
With Herbert, and he's a good quarterback all around. When it comes to, for me, it starts with him throwing the football and just the weapons that he has. The one that sticks out to me is McConkey. All right, the
McConkey,
guy from Georgia, man, he's an elite
receiver.
route runner. Very shifty, he moves all over the place. You can tell they have that instant connection between, McConkey and Herbert, and it's a real connection. He's all over the field, making plays for him, catching a lot of footballs, and he's a dynamic player. I think he has a very bright future in this league.
You know what else he is? He's faster than he looks, and he has deceptive speed.
I mean, you've been around the playoffs quite a bit in your career. Is there a different level that everyone gets to this time of year?
At this level, of course, the intensity, it picks up, right? Everybody understands what's on the line, what's at stakes here. So the intensity definitely picks up, and the game is sped up. It's faster. It's more physical, and that's what playoff football is about. So of course, you get your opponent's best. they're going to get our best. That's what everybody likes to see. That's why you want to be here at this time of the year, still playing playoff football. Everything is sped up. Everything is more physical. It's more exciting all the way across the board. So we're excited about it.
No, the race car was for me. It wasn't for him. He was talking normal. I was the one being immature.
Mixing back this week, obviously, as well, but Pierce also had a big day.
With our offensive line, I thought our guys did a good job yesterday. Just when it came to protecting, when it came to the run game, staying on block, staying attached, I think that allowed us to have some success in the run game with Joe and DP running the football. Our O-line did a really nice job of creating some lanes there. Of course, our backs, DP, of course, did a really great job playing on great vision. When the space wasn't there, he was able to create on his own and break a really long run there. So proud of DP for what he was able to do. And O-line also with the protection. Thought they did a really nice job of giving our quarterbacks time. Quarterback stepped up in the pocket. Both CJ and Davis have made some nice plays off schedule there. So, we're headed in the right direction. We just have to be more consistent all the way across the board.
Their offensive line, it feels like a pretty good tackle duo. Probably one of the better ones.
Damn, he wasn't hungover today.
Pretty decent interior, and it seems like they've been able to get a couple different running backs going at different times this year.
Yeah, their offensive line is one of the strengths of their team, right? Starting with the tackles, too. The left tackle and right tackle were two really good players. And we have two good players on the edge as well, so that'll be a matchup
really
that
good.
I think everybody's looking forward to. We have to find a way to win on the edge versus their top players. Interior-wise, they also do a good job of working together. They ran the ball well, different backs at different times, and ran the ball well. It's going to take a collective effort, right, all the way across the board. For us defensively, I think the key will be our interior D linemen playing really well versus some of the run schemes that they have.
What advantage do you see? You and CJ and Will, last year was the first time that
boy
y'all
right here
were in the playoffs. What advantage do y'all feel more? I guess the word is comfortable heading into the playoffs this year as compared to last year?
To me, it's right here, 2025 now. I almost said 2024, but right now, 2025, we're just focused on the present of, our team, what we have here now. Last year was last year.
No kidding.
Entirely different locker room, different group of guys. Like, how do we make the most
does experience help, though, man?
of our opportunity here right now with the guys that we have? Just want our guys to really live in that moment, right, of where we are right here, right now with what we have. Let's go make the most of it.
Obviously, Will had a really great rookie season, but do you feel like having Danielle with him has elevated his game to another level?
Yeah, Will has definitely had an outstanding year this year as well. He's gotten better, probably double his production. He's gotten so much better. Run game, pass game, just overall, like to take the leap that he's taken his second year has been really impressive to see him, take that leap. And he's a dynamic player for an impact player for us, leader, like everything you want. And I think Danielle has definitely helped him, having Danielle and just their relationship, their bond, and what Will was able to learn from Danielle when it came to just, I think, at the top of the rush, like that moment of truth, being able to find ways to escape and finish on the quarterback. And I think having Danielle here, to have another guy to listen to, along with Coach Rod and Coach Native doing an outstanding job all the way across the board. Our entire D-line has done a great job, been the strength of our defense this year, and proud of all the guys, coaches and the players. They've all done a really great job.
On last year, you all, had the success that you all had, and some people, weren't expecting that, especially with what the franchise had been through the previous 3 years. And so you all were learning to deal with that, as far as what came with that success. This year, heading into the playoffs, you all came into this season expecting to be, where you are on the trajectory that you all are. How are your younger players dealing with that now and their mindset heading into this second year as far as going into the playoffs?
The mindset of our young guys, they just want to play. They love playing football, right? And that's how I like them. Like, their mentality is straightforward. Like, let's get to it. What's the next opponent? What's the game plan? Let's go to work. And that's how I want our guys to be. It's just laser focused on what matters right now, right? We'll have guys who have experience in the playoffs, guys who don't have experience. At the end of the day, for me, when the ball is snapped, like, are you doing your job or are you not? Are you playing with the Texans' relentless mindset or not? Like, that's what matters, right? And our young guys, older guys, it doesn't matter. Our team collectively, we have to play complementary football. We have to play smart football, eliminate mistakes, right? Play together, and that'll be good enough for us.
Those guys on that edge are going to be a mofo. Let's just be honest. Those guys on that edge, 5'1", 5'5", they are going to be a mofo. Like, we can talk about everything we've talked about. Those guys on that edge, those guys at corner, that safety, those linebackers, that D-line is going to be a mofo. Look at Demeco's licking his lips just thinking about it.
A fresh start, forgetting about last year and just living in the moment now. Is that also kind of applied to this just completed regular season, how we got here, what it did, all that kind of just, we're here now, let's go play?
Yeah, we're here now, let's go play. For me,
look at that.
Like, nothing else matters, right? It's how you playing right now. Are you playing your best ball going into the playoffs? Like, that's what matters most, right? And are you able to consistently keep up with that when you are in the playoffs? Can you continue to play good ball? Can you continue to play the game the right way, not make silly mistakes? Can you put yourself in favorable positions? Can we, get better scoring in the red zone, defending in the red zone? Those situational elements of the game, third down, red area, those are the areas where we have to be really good at here in the playoffs, because good teams aren't going to make mistakes. You have to find a way to beat them.
Like last year, you have Bobby Slowick involved in the hiring cycle with him being requested by the Jets. Where have you seen him grow as a coach? And obviously not every season is as smooth as last year. Where have you seen him deal with the ups and downs of the season?
Yeah, I don't know if any season is smooth, right? You have a lot of ups and downs. Even, when you're winning, kind of those things kind of go under the rug, but there are ups and downs as coaches, and as coaches you have to grow and evolve. You have to do things different, and sometimes you set out to do, or you have a mindset of doing things one particular way, and you always have to kind of tweak those things and do what's best for the guys that you have and what they're capable of doing. So I see where I think Bobby has definitely grown in that area of being able to adjust and put our guys in position to where they can be successful.
Has he?
People always say that football is inches, but when you get to the play.
By the way, the Jets aren't hiring Bobby Slowick. There might be an interview. The Jets aren't hiring Bobby Slowick. So there's that. But has he done all those things?
How slim are those margins, and in what ways are the details even that much more important when you get to this level is win or go?
At this level, right, if you make a mistake, it can cost you. Every game is sort of like that, but here in the playoffs, even more so because right, all the teams that are here, they deserve to be here, right, and they wouldn't be here if they weren't good teams. So if you give good teams more opportunities to go score, they're going to find a way to score. So you cannot have, right, the mental mistakes here in the playoffs, right? You cannot have the penalties, all those things where field position is definitely a huge battle, and we have to win that field position battle each and every game, and it's even more paramount now. But it's just a matter of being on the details, man, being confident in what we're doing and going play.
We'll go Ken, Jonathan, sorry. Deontay, we saw a little bit from yesterday. How confident are you that he can really help you guys this week, and do you think he could be more part of what happens on the field?
But Deontay, I was really impressed with his last week of practice. I thought he picked up on the things we were asking him to do. I thought he really had really nice catches, nice plays throughout practice, and he got in the game. We were able to get him a little involved in the game as well, and I thought he handled himself really well. We'll start to continue to feed him more, see how he can help us. The skill set, the talent is there. It's just a matter of him just
He's still your second best receiver. I mean, it doesn't really we can say that. That's not saying a lot. I mean, we're talking about Robert Woods, Xavier Hutchinson, and John Mechie. Let's just be honest. He's still your second best receiver, which speaks to where you are. How ready is he? I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to try to unleash him, and we're gonna see him get some opportunities. They might take a shot. Maybe he'll get some of those Bobby Slowick wide receiver screens that everybody seems to love so much.
Damn it, Bobby!
But he's going to he's their second best receiver right now. So they're going to find a way to get him involved. He should have had a touchdown yesterday.
Integrating into our offense and making sure, we put him in positions to where we can accentuate his talents because he's a talented player. He's made a ton of plays in this league, and it's exciting to see what he's able to do on the practice field. So I'm excited to see that come to life on game day. So he's done a great job. Happy to work with Deontay. He's been a pleasure to work with.
Demeco, for players who choose to do their rehab here, who are on the IR.
I looked at this and I was like, and this is just me. I was like, well, Stephon Diggs hadn't really been rehabbing here. He did show up for Netflix, looking fresh as heck. Listen to what he has to say about Petrie.
And I'm thinking of a guy like Jalen Petrie. In what ways do they help and are still part of the team, even though they can't really play?
Yeah, Jalen has done a great job of just being around each and every day. Even though he has rehab and all those things, Jalen is still in our meetings. He's out at practice. He cares. He's involved. He wants to help other guys, and it just speaks to who Jalen is as a man and why he's our Walter Payton Man of the Year recipient, because it's bigger than football to him. He has that heart to help others, not only here in the building when he can't go out and physically play. He has that heart to help others in the community as well, with the meals program that he's helping his kids with and here in Houston. So, man, I'm just happy to have Jalen around. Love having him around. You can't have enough special people around. Jalen is one of those special young men that I love to coach.
Coach, a lot of your colleagues, or now former colleagues, are, losing their jobs, at the end of the regular season. We all know that this day comes. But for you some even after 1 year, how hard is it to have the type of success and be the type of coach that you are in those first 2 years, knowing that window is so short?
And for me, man, I just look at every day as a blessing, and I attack it that way. I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to serve here with the Texans. I'm grateful for the people that I get to work with. I think that's what makes it even better, is just the people, right? The players, the staff, the support staff, ownership, just everybody being on the same page, right? It helps us move in a direction where we want to go, right? And that's continue to progress, continue to move our organization forward, and that's everybody being on the same page. So I'm happy to work with the people I work with, and they understand our business, understand how tough it is to be successful each and every year in this league. So I never take it for granted, right? And I'm thankful for our guys and their attitude, and for them, the way they work. Anything I ask those guys to do, they're about it. So that's what makes it easy for me. And man, it's a blessing to be a head coach of an NFL football team, and I never lose sight of that. Never lose sight of how hard it is to be successful. It's unfortunate when you see guys lose their jobs, and also I think unfortunate part about it is also you just see it's almost like everybody's waiting to see what happens. That's kind of a little upsetting to me. If you're kind of hanging around waiting to see something bad that happens to someone else. But had to think about the families that are involved, not only the head coach, but the other coaches who are on staff, kids who are in school. It's bigger than just, this coach got fired and that's the news cycle and let's keep it moving. I think about the families who are affected by those moves, and it's deeper than just the head coach moving on and you get someone else. All right, thank you, guys.
I just don't I feel for players. There's a lot of times where I side with players. I think the pressure and stuff. I don't feel bad when NFL coaches get fired. I'll just be honest with you. And I just don't. And yeah, there's families, stuff like that. Their contracts are guaranteed. They get millions of dollars, and it's I actually find it amusing whenever there's a coach who's on the final year of his contract, and it's well, he's a lame duck coach. What the hell does that mean? I feel bad for average folk who get fired. All the people who are getting fired around the country that are basically just waiting for their severance to come through and then figure some stuff out. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad when a head coach gets fired. Not really. It just doesn't do it for me. So who knows? Get Mayo on the defensive staff for what? What for what? To do what? I don't know that they need too much help on the defensive staff. I like where the defensive staff is. Now, if Mike McDaniel got fired with the Dolphins, bring Mike McDaniel and that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
Be blowing fat clouds with him during practice. But yeah, like the head coach, I get it. Like it's probably hard to be a coach's son and move around. But the NFL coaches, it's weird. Their contracts are guaranteed. The players aren't. Like David Culley, I always hear the David Culley and the Lovie Smith thing. Nobody else was going to give those guys an opportunity. And you always hear like, well, they weren't set up for success. Well, the job wasn't top tier. They probably wouldn't have hired Gerard Mayo if they could have gotten Ben Johnson or something like that. Like David Culley, and David Culley will say this too. He gets a kick out of people that sit there and act like he's some sort of like victim or sad. He got $20+ million. That dude's playing golf with 2 knee replacements, chilling. He got an opportunity he would have never gotten. But like the fake sympathy for this head coach got fired and he's going to get $20 million and he got an opportunity that he wasn't going to get. I just don't get it. There was a lot of fake compassion for like coaching, and there was just a lot way too much drama. Like Gerard Mayo, congratulations. You're a very successful guy. You had a successful career. You were a business guy. You're okay. Patriot for life. You're fine. Doug Peterson as an OC post Slowick. I don't know. I mean, I'm open to anybody. As an OC. Back on the swarming back on the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Do you think Shane Day leaving, who is Herbert's QB coach again, has anything to do with Stroud's and the offensive's regression? I mean, I don't know. All bets are off, man. Like something's going on because you keep hearing about the offensive line, and the offensive line is worse this year than it was last. I don't know. That's a really good question. If Shane Day, who's now the QB coach for the Chargers, if him being kind of a senior offensive assistant helps CJ, I don't know. I hear all this praise for Gerard Johnson. I like Gerard. I don't know. Just being honest with you. Kevin Smith, shout out to you, my friend. Not to be confused with the Super Bowl MVP for the Dallas Cowboys when Neil O'Donnell gifted him those interceptions. Kevin says, still have some concern, as always, about this team and the coaching. Fair enough, especially on the offensive side of the rock. We lose to a good team, then get right against a bad team, and Demeco comes out and acts like all is right in the world. It's Groundhog Day. I do kind of want to touch on that because while I was battling the flu, and it just seems like a blur. Like I was doing lives on the road. It seems almost like I was traveling for Christmas like months ago. Maybe I've just been too medicated and I'm on that syrup too much, but it does feel that way. But I was thinking this a lot, and it was a complete eye roll for me. And I know it's kind of the awkward point of the week where they played on a random ass Wednesday, so the whole like body clock kind of gets thrown off when you get used to the NFL routine. But I was really amused by Demeco Ryans and Bobby Slowick, and they kept saying after the Ravens game, they kept saying, "That's not us. That's not us. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. We know that." And it's like, it kind of is. Like the defense giving you an opportunity, you not capitalizing on offense, the offense not being able to score points, defense kind of wearing out. Kind of has been, y'all. So I do kind of roll my eyes. I hope they don't look at the Tennessee game as a get right game. I look at it more so as the slate is wiped clean after the regular season. But yeah, I was amused when they said that the Baltimore game was not us. It looked kind of like, obviously it's a larger display of ass whooping and a larger display of offensive struggles. But it kind of looked that way, for sure. It definitely has looked that way all season long. Renee Soriano says, Landry, I'm not worried about coaching experience. Well, I mean, you don't have it. I mean, it's nothing that you can really control. So I would get it. I will say that there's a lot of respect for Jim Harbaugh on the other end and what he's been through. Gio says, do y'all think CJ has a switch? We saw it last time. Last time that he was on the field, we saw him kind of elevate his play against Cleveland in week 1. And then we saw him do his thing the year before in college. So we've seen CJ flip the switch before. Kevin says this team is built on defense and being relentless. Playoffs are different. Let them keep counting this team out. They'll bring the juice. A lid will be put on the weak Chargers offense. Their offense is not great. And the Texans defense is really, really good. So I agree with you. The defense is the key. Brandon says they said Josh Allen was efficient. Then he came to NRG. They said Jared Goff was efficient. Then he came to NRG. They said Tua was efficient. Then he came to NRG. They say Herbert, ... It's a hell of a speech right there. Pretty good point, too. Pretty good point. What'd they say about Will Levis? Oh, moving on. Just kidding. Kind of. But yeah, that is a good point. They know how to contain quarterbacks. Renee says, I feel like the Texans are going to win. Our defense is better. Also, I'll take CJ over Herbert. Adrian, hope DP can help the run game improve and help improve Stroud's confidence. They don't trust Dameon Pierce when it actually matters. They trust Dameon Pierce when they're blowing teams out, or they trust Dameon Pierce when it's a low pressure type of situation. They don't trust Dameon Pierce. The next time we see Dameon Pierce in an important, crucial situation will be the first time in a long time. They've shown us that. T says, coach advantage goes to Chargers. QB advantage goes to Houston. CJ 1-1 in playoffs. Herbert's 0-1. Yeah, and he wet the bed in the second half of that game. David says it all depends on what team shows up. This is true. The offensive line and CJ show up. I truly believe they can beat almost anyone. Good luck on that offensive line showing up. Good luck on that. Rock WP, find a way to take away Ladd, and I like our chances. Yeah, that is one fast honky. He is very, very fast. Way faster than he looks.
Race car!
Space Age 713. Can Deontay Johnson be better than Tank? If so, we could be working with something. Tank wasn't doing anything before that Chiefs game. Like he was a non-factor more times than not. Not saying it was his fault, but Deontay Johnson, we'll see what he can do. I think he's probably going to be a part of this team next year. He'll get a chance. If you can make him your wide receiver 3 or 4, we'll see. But I mean, that was the other thing. I heard Jay Feely during the broadcast the other day, like acting like the Texans were just humming when Tank Dell was there. He must have just watched the Chiefs game. Because there were 4 games where he was a non-factor. I'm not saying that's his fault, but that's what it was. So we'll see what happens with Deontay. They're going to need it because Tank's probably not playing next year. I'll be surprised to see if and when he does play. CCC says bolt up. Chargers fan. Shout out to Chargers fan. They got a good squad for sure. Braun says never knew Texans fans were this delusional. What's been delusional? Maybe you're talking about something in the chat. I don't know what's been delusional. Is you just talking to talk? I don't get it. I think there's been, we said Harbaugh has the head coaching advantage. CJ has the head coaching advantage. Or CJ has the or Herbert has the quarterback advantage. What was delusional? The people saying that they could win. Rock again. Do you think our defense will look different with our LBs healthy and us being banged up at the nickel position? I do. And I don't think they were going to show that against the Titans. I do think we see a little bit more traditional. I think whenever there's nickel situations, they'll try to hide a Kuda out there. Problem is, it's going to be more and more difficult to hide a Kuda out there and move Kamari inside. And then you don't know what the hell else you have at corner. So that's kind of a problem. But it's definitely going to look different. This is the first time. That's another thing. It's going to be the first time that you have all 3 linebackers healthy, good to go at the right time. So probably see a little bit more traditional defense. You need a nickel, though. All the good teams seem to have nickels, but I definitely think that we see something a little bit different. CC says Chargers 43, Texans 13. You should go take that alternate line then. And we'll see what that looks like. There's definitely some advantages for sure with the Chargers. I would not sleep on this Texans defense though at all. But gun to my head right now, I'd probably pick the Chargers if we're being honest. But I mean, it's not like some sort of like improbable task to beat that offense, and it's a home game. So we'll see how it goes. Appreciate everyone for coming through the live stream back in full effect. SNL with myself and Cody Stutes. We're going to practice. They pushed it back 1:45. Normally we go live at 4. We're probably going to go live around 6-ish. We're going to gather all of the quotes, thoughts, storylines, practice report, and we'll have SNL at 6. Subscribe to that on Apple, Spotify, as well as here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channels. The Written Word, Alive and Well, with Cody Stutes and Houston Football. So subscribe to that as well. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all for joining me in the locker room. It's playoff time, baby. Let's go.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room.